Welcome back to Two Peas on a Pod. We're shooting for
the story behind the spatulas.
Yes. Okay. So the spatulas have to come and play because Layla was playing around in the last video that we recorded.
Sorry, guys. I'm just such a jokester comedian.
Right. And so all I could hear was her like moving the mic and messing with the mic most of the time, and then like you need to hold it closer to your mouth.
Oh, I'm scared. It's gonna be too close to my mouth.
No, it's because you can't hear unless you're like, because you can hear everything else and you sound faint.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so like that's what I was trying to tell her was like this was the reason for the spatulas because we sound really faint. But if we're holding them in our hand, you can also hear the movement that you're like moving it around and stuff. So it's easier if we're like holding it but not with our hands. So yeah. Layla, you're not gonna be able to hear yourself. Like, do you see how close I'm holding
Yes, I'm literally holding it that close.
Okay.
Do you want me to yell in it and laugh obnoxiously like
you
I
were
did
doing
last
that
time?
last time?
Yeah. I thought the whole point was to carry it away. Like,
okay, yeah. Well, I forget.
It was so obnoxious.
Layla was, I don't know. She was like,
like that's what I sound like in. Oh, I don't even want to.
No, you only sound like that when you're really laughing.
Oh, okay.
But that's most of the time just with me. Nobody can make her laugh like I do.
Anyways, so today we're gonna be talking about
Hose Mad, y'all.
No, actually, I'm not.
Today we're talking about Hose Mad.
Yeah, that's our topic. First topic.
Loki?
What?
Loki Hosey Mad.
Oh, Loki Hosby Mad.
Of us.
Loki Hosby hating on this.
Okay, so the title to this podcast is gonna be, what's it gonna be? Friendships.
Early adolescent friendships. No, we're not adolescents.
No, I was thinking more something dramatic like friendships. True or false? Or like friendships.
The fault of friendships.
The fault of friendships.
Wait,
guys, Layla is not. She's kind of low-key. Should have been a marketing major.
Wow.
Low-key, she should have done it because she came up with our name. And also it was random. Like the day we were talking about it was random. I don't know how she came up with it. And now she came up with this title, so.
Yep. Hit me up, guys.
Yeah, y'all need to start asking her to name brands for you guys and market them. Okay, so what is the question?
Oh, actually we don't have any questions written down.
No, I was saying the question that we were like about friendship.
Yeah, how to have a good friendship, how to keep a good friendship, what are signs of like bad
But first,
friends?
can we talk about the weird dynamics of friendships?
Yeah.
Is that, well, I thought
that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I was just gonna.
And then we're gonna like talk about how we keep our friendship.
I guess.
Like we're lucky friendship experts.
Some would disagree.
Some would disagree. Some would disagree. Honestly, yeah. But we're not gonna sugarcoat it. We'll be real.
Yeah.
We'll be real.
We'll spill the tea. Well, we're gonna be raw.
Oh, and authentic. No, the amount of times that Layla was literally like, "No, we're supposed to be real and raw." Like,
really?
Girl.
Oh, that's like okay. That's like cringy. That's like, did you hear that? That is probably shooting again. Y'all. I'm leaving. I come and drop off the groceries after I pick up a grocery order. I'm at my door walking out to go to my lab. All I hear is bah, bah, da, 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 da. Oh, cool. So I step back inside and I'm like peeking through the window, and all I hear is bah, 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 da, da, da. And I was like, okay, guys, can we like stop shooting so I can go to class? Like, what's going on?
A real day in the life of a student at Arkansas. Like, I don't know.
I was like, oh my gosh.
But it's not the first time. There's always something going on back there.
Back there.
I don't know what.
I just don't understand. Who are we after,
I don't know
guys?
who's feuding back there.
Who are the ops? Because get them away from us.
Why didn't we scoot the table closer? I can't reach.
Anyways, let's start.
Okay, so really the question came from like us talking about the fact that like people's idea of friendships and like dynamics of friendships are so weird, and how like I just thought about this a couple days ago. Like I think, did I call you whenever I was like, you know what, I just realized that like some people don't Don't have a best friend.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's kind of like, I guess what's crazy to me is like, I don't realize that people really don't have best friends, or that people are like our age and still trying to find a best friend, or like our
That,
age
or
and
they
still.
think that. Sorry, didn't mean to
No,
interrupt you,
go.
but that, or they think the friends they have are their best friends, and it's like,
Yeah. Or like the way that their relationship is their
Yeah.
best friend. Because we were trying to, but we're saying that to say that like, I guess we feel like our relationship is different than other people, but then it's like, I don't understand how those people could be friends, because our relationship is so like unique in the way of like, I can't imagine.
because we're married.
Yeah, like I can't imagine not having Layla as my best friend, but that's mostly because I'm like, the relationship that we have, which I did just see a TikTok about this girl, and she was talking about how she
We
was
sound
married
so
to her
gay
best
right
friend. Well, I do tell everybody I'm married to her.
Yeah, so this is
But
us.
in my notes where I put like my men's standards, it literally says you have to do everything that Layla does.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then for my men's standards and my notes, if I were to have them,
Layla wants a housewife. That's the problem. She don't want to be the housewife. She wants a housewife, and I want a man. The opposite. We're literally the opposite. She wants someone who she'll come home to dinner every night, and who cooks and cleans, and who like takes care of her.
Please bless me with that. Bless
And
me
a
with
male
that.
version
like,
is gonna be kind of hard.
but I don't want like a weak man either. Like, oh gosh, it's a very tough topic. But once I find him, I just can't do the womanly roles.
I believe someone's out there for you. Someone. I'll help you. I try to help. But Layla always picks the wrong people.
Okay, so we're talking about friendships.
Layla likes bums, bro.
Oh, no. Okay, we're talking about friendships, guys.
Okay,
Let's reel it back in.
Okay.
We'll
Well,
have
you
to
know
get
what?
into this.
Next episode. Next episode, let's talk about dating.
Okay, cool. We can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so anyways, back to what we were
Scared.
saying. I'm not gonna come for you.
No. Okay. If you promise.
What was I
The
saying?
dynamic of friendships and how we're different. And
Oh yeah, okay, so that's where the question originated from, but I also think that it's so weird to see like modern day friendships, quote unquote, because I feel like a lot of times the idea of friendships is misconstrued into what people think a friendship should be. And like, I don't understand how girls are friends with other girls where they like
low key, they low key hate each other.
Yeah.
That's just that. Like, I have no other explanation. But they low key are like one upping each other in every possibility that they can.
Yeah. It's like they're in competition with each other
Yeah.
more than they like actually like each other. And like, it's also been one of those things where it's like really eye-opening to see like how many girls like don't have boundaries with each other. I think that's really the biggest thing to me, is like, you don't have any boundaries, because I feel like me just as a person, I have a bunch of boundaries.
You do.
But like,
and I have none. So
but that's not a bad thing.
It
is a bad thing. No,
it
is a bad thing
in some areas.
Yes,
I
it's a
have to
bad thing to
improve.
not have any boundaries, but it's not like in a bad way that like she doesn't like care to share things with me. Like, that's fine. I don't care about that. More so in the way of like, but you have boundaries in the way of like loyalty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
They're
you can't
very
say that you
different.
don't.
Yeah, they're very different boundaries in those areas, and that's something that we've kind of had to mesh together and like figure
Like,
out.
let's talk
and I would say
about-
that's one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
That and like
So
I don't
where do
know.
we really start to unpack this?
I don't
Like
know.
our friendship as a dynamic?
Let's talk about our
Okay.
history.
Okay, let's talk about our history. Me and Layla have been through a freaking roller coaster. Mind you, a lot of it has been on my part. I'm not gonna lie. I'm always the one bringing up stuff, and that's
And I'm an avoider.
That's not on me. It's just who I am as a person. But I will say, me and Layla, like, literally, okay, the first falling out we've ever had was when we were in high school, and I told Layla that I felt like she wasn't spending any time with me because she was hanging out with that little stanky little boy, and instead of Layla wanting to like continue to hang out with me, she just ignored me.
Yeah,
and
I did do that, and I take full responsibility, guys. That's something
and
I
it
had
was
to
so
own up to.
awkward because we were literally coaching a soccer team together at the time, and when I tell y'all I ignored her, no, I
We're
don't.
like arch enemies. Then.
No, we were so arch enemies, which was so awkward because
Enemies
like
to lovers.
obviously her little boy was still there, and then it was just like there was other people there that made it even more awkward.
Yeah.
And like I wanted to talk to her obviously, but also if you know me, you know I'm very strong forward. So it's like I was upset. I was upset
Yeah.
and I was hurt and I didn't want to let it go. And I felt like she owed me an apology because I felt like I had really come to her with a problem and like I wasn't heard. And so it was like obviously my feelings were hurt and I was like, okay, well, I guess she doesn't want to be my friend. And like I think that it both like I think it was weird for both of us because we both like
Yeah.
cried when we like finally talked. But it was also the first time that I was like, okay, I mean, obviously, in any relationship, you're gonna have your conversations that need to be had, and like your
Mhm.
conflicts. And it wasn't like we didn't go like a bunch of time. Did we?
What?
We go a bunch of time not talking to each other?
I think it was like on the span of a couple months because we coached that team and like it
It
wasn't
was a
that.
couple months.
Yeah, it was a good
Damn.
amount of time. Like
I would just like to say that it was Layla's fault because
yeah, okay.
Layla should have came to me.
And that's why I just said earlier, I'm an avoider. And in my head during that time, I'm high school. I'm like so obsessed with this little boy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in love. All my time is gonna go to him. Which you can even ask my family. All my time did go to him. It got a
All
little
of her time,
got a little sketchy there for a minute, a little obsessive.
yeah.
Like the high school
But I
relationships
also
everyone
think,
talks
yeah, but
about.
it's also like I think that that's like part of being in high school.
Yeah,
And part of
and
growing up. And
so
everyone goes
naive.
through that. And
Yeah,
everybody goes through that.
yeah, for
Everybody
sure.
goes through that. What?
No, I'm just saying like everyone does.
I didn't really though.
No.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Like,
She's trying to clock
whoa.
my tea where there's no tea to be clocked. Honey, I hung out with all my friends when I had a boyfriend.
She did, and I low-key resented her for that. It's
That's
like, why
real.
can you do this so easily?
But I think it's because Layla, when she finds someone that she's like feels safe with, she really holds on to them.
Yeah,
Because
I like latch on like
yeah,
the
and I
leash.
think in the way that's where we're the same but different. Like she's scared to lose them, so it's like she wants to hold on to them harder.
For
And I'm
sure.
scared to lose them, but I want to push away from them because I don't want them to be in control of me. And so it's like that's my response.
Yeah.
And I think that's where me and
Yeah,
Layla are like
that's a good explanation. Of
yeah, I think that me and Layla are so alike that we're so different, and I think that's why we're perfect for each other.
it. Wow, no, we're perfect. Is this where you propose?
No.
Oh.
Anyways, that was the first conflict that we had ever had. That was in high school. I think that was the first time that we were like ever
Like
well,
beefed
other
out.
than the time where I wasn't allowed to talk to you.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to talk to Layla for a time because she was
I
a
was a little
delinquent.
baby kid.
Yeah, and my mom was not having that, and she's Hispanic, so it's like
Yeah.
she really wasn't having that. But me and Layla finally reconnected. I think honestly, perfect timing. I do feel bad because I don't feel like I was there for Layla through some of the harder parts of her life, and that's something that I think about often. But it's like I feel like I feel like it was needed. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
There was times where like well, I didn't really know what was going on in her life. And then also we didn't talk for that little bit that well, I guess that would count it all in one.
Mm-hmm.
Like that there was just so much going on for Layla as one whole, and then like we didn't talk for a little bit because Layla used to be a man pleaser to her core and she had to spend time with men.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's fine.
It's a learning
okay.
experience, guys. To all the women out there listening, you do
You go through it.
you go through it, you get over it.
It's part of high school. It's part of being a teenager.
You still are going through it.
You're still going through it?
Yeah. No.
Oh,
like
I
you're
was
still learning. Like you're still
No, yeah,
learning,
you're
like,
still
yeah.
learning, but those attachment issues are not as
Yeah.
present. But like you had a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah. It was
We
like
don't have to talk
probably
about
not the best time for us to even be friends anyways because
Yeah.
I was not a nice person. I had so much hate and anger.
And I
in
wasn't
me.
a nice person either, but it's also like in high school
We
I
both
think
had a lot
going
on.
But I also think in high school it's like you know that you're friends with these people, and even though you might not be on talking terms with them like every single day, like because I feel like we still talked, we just weren't talking every single day.
Yeah.
Like you know that those people are there for you, but then too like we had been friends for so long that I didn't really like. I never thought like me and you weren't gonna be friends.
Yeah, it was kind of more of just like a cordial like understanding.
We're just like being
or
cool
just
with
kind of
each
like,
other right now.
hey,
Wait,
hey.
let's talk about the time that like you finally did start talking to me, and you were like telling me that you talked to Miranda about it, and you were like you said that you like cried to Miranda.
There's so many times I've cried to her.
Because you were like you had told her that you knew that you were being a bad friend or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but I probably did. I know I did do that.
This was when we had finally had the conversation. I think it was like one day after a game or something like that, and you were like, "Can we talk?"
in high school, yeah.
And you were like, "Can we talk?"
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I was just kind of like, and she just like as a mom would be like, yeah, you're obsessed with your little boyfriend. But we've had so many conversations about that in general, with the whole relationship, and they weren't very keen of him anyway. So she just kind of told me what's up.
Yeah,
Woman to woman.
And I think I was mad at Layla because I feel like I experience that a lot with a lot of my friends, like with boyfriends. They always like get a boyfriend, then just don't talk to me.
Yeah, it's I
But
don't
it's like a
right.
really big thing, and I'm like, I just feel like you need to be able to have a boyfriend and also have your friends.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that now,
But
but
I
back
think
then I
Layla,
was like,
yeah, you're a lot more like independent and healed.
thank God.
Like she would hang
Whew,
out with me
thank
now.
you God.
But okay, that was our first falling out. And then we came to college and we were good our freshman year. Our
Mhm.
freshman year was
Well,
so good.
yeah, but also we didn't live with each other. We lived
We were neighbors.
yeah, so in our dorm we were neighbors, next door neighbors, but we had different roommates
I'm
because we were so scared that it was gonna like ruin our friendship.
I still think to this day that we could have roomed together
I
and it would have
think
been
so
fine.
too. I literally
I
think
feel
so.
like we should have.
I
But then we wouldn't have met Bree.
yeah, I know that's
And that's
for
like
my
the
sake.
best.
I wish I would have, but for your sake,
I loved my freshman year roommate. We didn't start off like super close friends, but we ended up being really good friends.
yeah. And then we met her friends, and that was our little friend group. for a minute.
Yeah, and we had a great time
Yeah.
freshman year. We were unhinged and wild.
And every girl's freshman year, basically.
No, not every girl.
Well, not every.
We didn't do half the stuff that you
yeah.
hoes be doing out there.
But you know, we kept it cute and classy and still had a good
we,
time.
we keep it cute and classy over here. To this day.
Oh man.
But yeah, and then we moved in together.
Yeah. That's weird.
Stop doing the whispering thing. It doesn't transfer.
It isn't.
No.
Damn it.
Yes. So stop.
And that's where it all.
That's where it all went downhill. No, it didn't go downhill. I was having an identity crisis so bad, and like I think when we came to college was when I realized like I was so insecure about myself, and I was starting to be jealous of Layla because I was like, Layla is who everybody wants, and I was really struggling with that. I was struggling with myself. I had just gotten broken up with, and like so I was already like finding it hard to find myself to be like attractive, and I didn't really like I went out, but I didn't really go out. Like I've just never been one to like want to go to
Yeah.
parties. I hate going to parties. It's so crowded. Like the club, that's different because I think there's more space in the club. But I was also in a season of my life where I was like, had been told not to do so many things that I was like, okay, I'm not going to do them out of respect for a certain person, and that really got to me. And it was like I was just damaged mentally because I felt like I don't know. I'd always felt like the ugly duckling in high school because I was always like the different girl. Like I
Mhm.
was never skinny and I was always thicker, and like I never really was like talking to boys in high school. Well, that's a lie, but I was just not who I thought I should have been.
Yeah.
And I've been surrounded by white people my entire life, so it's like I don't look like white people. I don't look like Layla. I thought like I wasn't pretty, and I was really starting to like take it out on Layla, and I was starting, and I think that's why I'm like, it's weird to me that people have these relationships where they're like full of jealousy because I was experiencing that like firsthand. Like I was jealous, and I was just like, I don't want Layla to do what I'm doing with my life, or like to match me or to do the same things as me because I need to be different than her because I was felt like I was already fighting so hard to be somebody else, and then like you were coming and doing it, and it was like, oh my gosh, like Layla is perfect, you know? And I'm not saying that that's how Layla was coming off because that's not how she was coming off at all. She was just like doing things to do them or like doing them because I was doing them, and like that's what friends do. Like you want to match and you want to do the same things, and it wasn't like she was coming for me or like attacking me or doing these things on purpose, but it was like that's what it felt like to me. And I was also just struggling like with other things, like just everything.
Yeah.
And
it's
I was
a lot at once.
yeah, and I was finding I was finding it so hard to like feel secure in myself, and I think I was probably in the most like vulnerable, like that was the most vulnerable year for me because I gotten broken up with, and then went through that whole thing, and then we moved in, and I was still going through that, and then I like had to let it go or start letting it go, and then it was just like it just was like then it was like issues with my mom, like all this other stuff that was like I just felt
attacked in every
yeah.
area.
And I felt like, and I just always have thought that Layla's better than me, and I still do. I still think Layla's better than me, and I think she's perfect. So it's like obviously when Layla does things that I'm doing, or not now, but was doing back then, it was like okay, like Layla's perfect, and so like why would I try to keep doing them? And that's something that like I took a long time to realize. I think because for a long time, instead of coming to Layla, I just wanted to be angry with her and like resent her, and we walked around the house like we were mad at each other, and it was like, and then I felt like. And then this is also another real reality of the situation was that like I felt like she was suffocating me because we were working together, we were going to school together.
Sharing a lot of our
yeah,
time
we
together.
were going to the gym, we were living together, like it was just so much. And I that was like the first time that I was like, Layla, we can't share every single friend of mine,
Yeah.
and like we can't share the exact same life. Like we have to have our own separate lives. And I think that feeds into like the relationship thing,
Mhm.
like not just romantic, but like all kinds of relationships. Like
Yeah.
you have to be okay with not having that person. And like I'm not saying like it would hurt,
Mhm.
but like if you weren't here, I'd be okay.
Yeah, and like kind of to feed off what you're saying, like how you talked about earlier, we're opposite in that way. Like you like your space, and when I have too much of my space, I feel like that's just one thing I've had to work on. Like I'm not good when I'm not around people, and I'm too alone. It gets a little sketchy for
It
me, a
gets a
little
little
rough.
sticky.
Yeah, like I'm not a good person to like be alone in
Yeah.
my own space for so long. So when we were working together, doing everything together, like carpooling to school and everything, it was like wow, like a peak like
Which
friendship,
don't get
love.
me wrong, it was no,
It
it was
was no,
good.
yeah, it
No, it
was
was good. And
good,
and
but
to this
I
day,
thrive off of constant like
codependency.
yeah, I do, and that's just one of the things I've had to work on. And so
Yeah.
I was good, and I'm like, oh, if I'm good, she's good.
Yeah.
The whole time she's like,
But I'm also just someone who like really likes to spend time alone. So it was like I was feeling suffocated at the same time. So it was like I'm not saying because I really did enjoy that time of our lives. I do feel like that was peak girlhood,
no,
peak
yeah, for sure.
like growing up together genuinely. But it's one of those things where it was like it was only gonna last for so long because I am who I am and she is who she is.
Hmm.
And I was just getting to the point where it was like I was starting to really hate Layla. Like I was like, I
Yeah.
cannot
Well, I think
like
everyone can kind of understand that though, because like if you're around like your siblings too much, or like
yeah.
any like your boyfriend or girlfriend too much, and it's like a
And it was
lot of
like I never
exposure
thought
just
that
to.
like okay, well, when we finally had the conversation, it was because I came to her, and for a moment I did think like, are we gonna be friends? But I think that's a thought that goes through everyone's head. But it was like I didn't actually think that we would not be friends. I just thought
Yeah.
like maybe we just needed some space. And like when I came to Layla genuinely was shocked. But I think it wasn't because like she didn't expect it because for weeks up until that point, like we hadn't really been talking.
Mhm.
But I think it was because she didn't realize how like to what extent it was. And
Mhm.
I was just kind of like, I don't know. I just kind of blew up and I was like, we need to have a conversation. And I won't lie, like I was like, do we live together? Like, is this too much? Like we're our
Yeah.
parents, right? Like, can we not live together? And I also think it was because I grew up living in a house a certain way and Layla grew up living in a house a whole nother
And
way.
that was a different shift for us as well. Like we had to kind of learn our like dynamics throughout like living with each other and like the roles and the responsibilities that we had to take on, and like
Yeah.
just we grew up in different households,
Yeah.
different families, even different cultures. So it was like we just
It was just weird.
yeah.
And that's one thing that I tell people all the time is like when they're like, "Oh, I want to move in with so and so," even if it's like a boyfriend or like a friend, it's like, okay, like, but you need to also be aware that like moving in with someone is a very big deal. Like,
Mhm.
you have to really learn that person, and you're like you're not alone anymore. And so it's like you have to be considerate of those people as well. And I will say like that was the first time that I feel like me and Layla really like got into it, which we
Yeah.
didn't even get into
It
it.
wasn't, but also like
We had a conversation.
but we've also had other conversations where we've talked about everything that she's just said. Um, and I had opened up about a lot of the things that I had felt, like the ways I felt like towards her, and like just like the insecurities I had on myself, and they were like they were different, obviously, because everyone has different insecurities, but like it kind of just opened up with like wow, like
Like we both put each other like on pedestals to the
uh-huh.
point where it's like we didn't even realize how much we both were jealous of each other.
Yeah, and like
That's what it was.
I was trying to like become her in certain areas, and she was trying to become me in certain areas, and it was just
But it's
more
like
so. But like with her, like she can't. I hope I'm right when I say this. I'm not saying it in any ill intent, but like you like kind of build it up and then you explode within
yeah.
me. I'm never gonna say anything. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna continue to do it until like I don't know, like
My
until
thing
you stop. I don't know, you
well,
know.
my thing is like I feel like I try to find the right moment where I'm like, okay, like one, I have the balls to say something,
Mhm.
and two, like I don't want to come off any kind of way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But that was when was that? Sophomore year?
Mhm.
Yeah, that was sophomore year. And then after that, like I feel like we were good after that. Like we didn't have
Yeah.
any other like we had conversations about like other things, but it wasn't like to the point where we weren't talking to each other or we were like ignoring each other. I think Layla has just come a long way from who she is and the way of like she talks about her feelings now. Which if like that's the thing is like every relationship is the same. Like they're different in the way that, like me and Layla aren't sexual with each other, but and same in the way of like I had to like pry Layla to like open up for me because it was hard for me to like want to open up to her when she wasn't doing that for me. And I think that
We
that's
should
like
give an example because I feel like
okay,
a lot of people like.
give an example.
Okay, so if
You
Victoria,
thought of one?
no, I'm just saying
Oh.
like if Victoria were to come to me and she's upset about like a day she had at work or like something that happened at school or she's just stressed out in general, I would be like, oh, I'm so sorry.
No,
Dang,
no, no,
like
no,
I don't know,
no,
like give me
no,
an
no, no.
example because
That it wasn't even like that. It was like I would come to Layla about some serious topics, like crying to her, and she would just kind of be like, "Okay," or
oh,
like she
I'm not
wouldn't know
laughing
what
at
to
you. I
say. I know
promise.
you're
I'm
not.
just awkward.
She wouldn't. It's not that she was like a bad friend. It's just like she wouldn't know what to say. She was like she had a hard
Emotions,
time.
I
Yeah,
don't like emotions.
no, no.
I'm
She
so
had a
avoidant of
hard
that.
time. She had a hard time voicing her empathy.
Yeah, that's what it is.
She had a really hard time voicing her empathy because I think that it made her feel awkward. And so it was like, but for me,
Like
we
that's
have
what
to
you
talk.
thrive off of.
Yes,
Yeah,
like I want to know about your feelings. Like tell me every little deep thought of in your head because that's what I do to people. I feel like I do that to everybody, especially people I'm close with. Like if I'm thinking anything, like you're gonna hear it. And there are times now where I'm like, I'm sure I'm annoying as hell to Layla, but it's like, well, not saying, but like
yeah.
in my head, I'm like, I'm probably annoying her, but I know that like even if she doesn't give a response, she's listening to me. It's just like my it gets to the point, like I'm
Mhm.
saying every little thought that comes to my head. She can't I can't
Yeah,
I don't
I just sit there in
yeah,
silence.
I
And I'm
don't
like,
expect
oh,
a
okay.
response. But at the time it was like I was going through so much. I was really like looking for someone to say something to me and I felt like I wasn't like receiving that. Like I don't want to say affirmation, but like
Well, like advice or
yeah.
like I don't know, like
I
some
oh
type of
because I felt like she was also going through a lot. We both just we're always going through a lot.
Harvey always
2026 is our year though. Well maybe. But
God bless us.
no, seriously. That year was well, this all happened in the same year. This was the
Yeah.
same year. This was sophomore year of college and that year like she was going through a lot and so it was like I was there for her and I was listening to her and I was giving her advice and that's something that I feel like I've always prided myself on like giving good advice. And so it was frustrating for me to not hear anything back. And that was another conversation that we had to have. Just
Mhm.
being like you're not really like doing for me what I'm doing for you. It's not equal. And I know that not every relationship is equal all the time, but it was getting to a point where it's like it's just kind of not excusable anymore.
Yeah.
And so that was just a conversation we had to have. That's also something that Layla like grew into. But then it's also like I've also had to grow in the way of like I've had to really stop being mean.
Mm.
And I had to stop being so like I was always mad and I feel like I was always taking it out on Layla. Now there are still
You weren't
times
like you were just abrasive. Like you're just very quick with your words and
I know I didn't think before I spoke.
yeah, yeah. And I
No,
didn't
don't get me wrong, I'm still clocking her teeth.
no,
But
yeah, but like I'm a very as much as I don't want to be, I'm very sensitive to words and like
she's so sensitive.
that's one thing, but I won't yell back, I won't talk back. I'm
She's just
shutting down.
quiet. Yeah.
I will shut down and I will not talk to you and
She's
I'm
just
just going to
quiet.
crawl up in a little shell and be a hermit crab.
Yeah.
Like that's the difference is like she can sit there not saying that we yell at each other, but you can sit there and yell at me and I'm just going to be like
Yeah, we don't yell at each other, but I'd just be like, no, you don't like this because of blah 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 blah. And she's just like and I'm like, yeah, you're not saying anything because you know I'm right.
basically.
But I've always been right, so it's like it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was definitely one of the things that I think, and I think that came with like moving in with each other because it's like you're constantly sharing time with this one person, so it's like you have to talk about things that you don't want to talk about. And then after that, we were just good.
Yeah.
We were good for a really long time. We
Dot
were
dot
good for
dot.
a really long time until
Dot
like
dot.
this past summer,
Yeah.
and it was my fault. And
Wait, what are we talking about?
uh, guys, 2025 whooped me. Like whooped me hard. No, okay, just being really honest. Grief changed me in so many ways and grief really made me such a jealous and bitter person in the beginning and I took it out on Layla and I'm very grateful for Layla being there for me through those times because I do feel like and this is true because I've lost a lot of people and I've lost a lot of friends. over grief, and it's because so many people cannot handle that. Like sometimes it's just not a reflection of how I feel about you, it's just a reflection about like what I'm going through. And that like I genuinely was going through times where it's like I was genuinely jealous of Layla for sharing the friends that I felt like he had left me behind, and that was really hard for me.
Yeah.
And like I have lost a lot of people over grief because they feel like because they've been there for me, I should be bending over backwards for them. And like I understand that, because I won't sit here and lie and say that like I wasn't harsh with Layla. I was very harsh with Layla, but I think it was also because I felt like she was pulling at pieces of me that I could never get back, because I felt like my relationship with the guys was so sacred and like nobody could touch it. And I'm not saying that Layla has taken that my place, but just that like they were left for me that no one else could have them. And so it was like something that I was genuinely struggling with because the grief felt so intense, and I was already fighting for like the little pieces of Lance that I had left in my head, or like physically, that it was like the those people were people that I could touch, and I couldn't touch Lance anymore, and I couldn't talk to him anymore. And so like that relationship with them made me feel connected, and I took that out on Layla because I didn't, when she started getting close, I saw her as a threat, as like a she's taking this away from me, and like she's grabbing onto the last thing that I like genuinely value, which I feel bad for even saying that because you know
No,
I
I mean,
value you.
this is
But
a different topic, but I mean, we've had conversations where I've came to you and I'm like, wow, like you're getting close with my family, getting close with my sisters,
yeah,
like you're becoming a threat. Like, does my parents like you more? Do my
yeah,
sisters like you more? Like,
yeah. Yeah,
don't
like
come
let's
over.
chill. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
And I think that that's something real, and like just to recognize is that like that does happen. And I think that like the grief just intensified those feelings for me, and that's a conversation that we had.
mhm.
And like I did like finally one day I was like I just blew up. Like it was just like the last straw. And it was because like our guy friends also say things that I don't think that they feel like mean anything, but like
They're
it was,
guys.
yeah, and it was egging it on to me. It was like becoming like almost like rubbing it in my face. And that was like what was getting me. But it wasn't her doing it, and she didn't even know.
And it wasn't them either. They didn't know.
They didn't, and they still don't know. But like, I literally was like, I just blew up, and I just told her like, I'm just upset, and I don't like that you like did this, and I don't like that you're friends with them, and like, I can't take this away from you, and like, I had just such a hard time with it, and I won't sit here and lie and say that like sometimes I'm not like, because you know I am. I feel like we're all human, so we're all jealous at
Yeah.
times, but like, there are obviously times where I'm like, in those moments I'm like, but we've already like I've already had this conversation with her, and I've already come to terms with this, and like I know that that's not what this is. And I think that that was like the biggest falling out. And then other than like that, in that same run, in like I don't know, I don't even want to, because I feel bad for saying like because of my grief and like because of this, but it's like genuinely that was the reason why it felt so intense. And then like after that we had one other situation where like I cussed Layla out. I've never cussed Layla out before.
Yeah, that was some really, that's some, inebriation was involved.
Yeah, I was really drunk, and like it was like, well, we had that like, because that night
That
that I
was,
came to her for
yeah,
the first night was like horrible. Like we were both like,
yeah,
what the hell are we gonna do?
yeah.
And Layla, like, I didn't know Layla crashed out, but Layla like
I
crashed out
crashed
about,
out, guys. Like, I want to talk about how I bottle things up, but like, I will bottle things up, but I'm gonna have my crash out. It may not be in front of anyone, and no one may know about it,
you know.
but the crash out is gonna be had.
Yeah. And she crashed out, and I didn't realize how much I meant to Layla until then. And I think it was because we had been through so much, and like, I don't know, me and Layla just don't really like sit here and be like, oh my gosh, you mean so much to me.
Yeah,
But we but we had been through so much that it was like I think like in every relationship people start to feel unappreciated, and people start to feel like you're kind of there because you're forced.
Wait, no, you found out how much I finally told you like how grateful I was for you when I was inebriated.
Why don't you just say drunk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, but okay, that was before.
That was before, yeah.
But that was before I crashed out.
That was before, but also after that, like the day after, I was like, we're never gonna talk about this again.
Yeah.
So like, it didn't really help the case. I even said anything.
Yeah, she was like crying and telling me she loved me, and I was literally just looking at her, and she was like, "You probably think I'm dumb," and I was like, "No, you just literally never said this to me
Yeah,
before."
like I'm terrible with my words and my emotions. So
Yeah, and then after I cussed her out, I said a lot of hurtful things to Layla that I really do Okay, but to be fair, like, let's just bring
Okay,
that up. It was
wait.
low key valid.
Okay, no, because
No, guys.
no, listen, I'm about to say it. We
Okay.
don't have to get into too details. We don't have to get into names.
I know I'm gonna do that, but like,
But
no, but
hold
okay,
on.
okay.
Yes, she did cuss me out. Yes, she did cross boundaries. Yes,
I apologize.
there was apologies. But guys, it does take two to tango, and I'm not excusing her for anything because it could have gone a different way.
Yeah.
And we've had a conversation
and I
about
take
that.
accountability.
But there was a lot on my end during this same altercation that did take place.
Yeah.
And we don't have to get into details.
We don't have to get into details, but just
But
know that I was
we had a
really
big
upset.
fight.
Yeah,
about
I was
something
upset
that
because
went
I felt
down.
like Layla was being a bad friend, and I was
because
drunk.
I made
and
some
I was
very
drunk.
poor choices.
Okay,
that same.
it's not even about that. It was just because like I was really really drunk, and I was like, Layla, I need you to take me home. And Layla was nowhere to be found. We won't say where she was, but she was just nowhere to be found. And I was like drunk. Like I was so drunk. I could barely walk at that point. And I was really upset. And I said a lot of things that were hurtful that they were extreme. They were extreme. But definitely things that I felt like needed to be said.
Yeah.
And with that
Well, it's
conversation, but also because I was like trying to tell Layla that I feel like a lot of her trauma has caused her to like do things for people that like she was just like spending so much money on me and like doing so much, and I was like, Layla, you don't have to do that. Like you don't have to buy my love because I
Mhm.
feel like that's what she thought. But it's also just like as overcompensation, like she was doing too much to the point where it was like you're doing the exact opposite of what I need you to do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't even know what I was gonna say.
But that day she like literally did not want to talk about it, and she was just like, I was like, Layla, are you not mad? Like she wasn't mad. And that's one thing about Layla is like she's just never gonna get like she does get mad, but like she's never really gonna get mad unless it's like an actual reason. But she's never really I don't really feel like you've ever been mad at me.
No, I mean,
Like most of the time it's like me
I
being
don't
upset.
get mad. I don't get upset. I'm so avoidant that like I literally
Yeah.
will push it all the way into like the point it's like not even.
But I did like
existing.
that the next day. I literally apologized so much.
Like,
Like I literally,
profusely
and even the day I was drunk, I
crying,
was like, "Why are
yeah.
you still?" Because she had to like take care of me, and I was like, "Why are you taking care of me?" if I'm,
No,
like,
okay,
drunk?"
let's talk about that because that's okay.
No,
I think
we
that's
can't
a
talk about
true.
that.
What?
Oh,
I'm not
wait.
gonna get into details.
Okay,
You didn't get into details for me. I'm not.
we're
gonna
not
do you
doing
dirty.
that.
Anyways, I will say I feel like it's a good testament to friendship because you literally crashed out on me. I sat there in complete silence, and I'm like,
Yeah, she didn't say anything.
I'm taking in every word.
Guys,
that she
I was like, I'm gonna move out. I was literally saying, I closed my door to pack my bags, y'all. I was drunk as hell. I literally didn't pack a damn thing. I took everything out of my purse.
No, listen. She's sitting. I'm like sitting on the couch, and she just comes out here and she's like, we have to talk. Da-da-da-da. She goes on a whole spiel. She's cussing, whatever, saying everything she needs to get off her chest. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like,
Wait, no, I was talking about the night at the den.
yeah.
No, you're talking about the other night. Cause you remember that was like the night at the den. I came in here, and then you came in here. You followed me into my room, and I was like cussing you out in my door, and I closed the door at you.
Oh, okay.
And then you were like knocking on the door trying to get in.
Yeah, and then I walk in, and you're like, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
I was like,
I thought my drunk self thought I was really going somewhere.
You know those like videos of those
I was
kids
like,
when they're
"Bye."
really young and they have like their little backpack of like one pair of
That
underwear
was
and a
literally
shirt.
me.
That was literally her. They're like, I'm leaving, mom. I'm like, okay, Victoria, let's see how far you'll get. Like barely down the stairs.
Barely down the stairs.
Anyways, and I'm over here like nursing her back to health as she's
drunk as hell,
trying to get her in bed and just call
drunk
it a
as
night.
hell, drunk as hell.
But yeah.
And honestly, I don't regret any of those experiences.
No, but because I feel like those make us closer, and I feel like people that were like by our side and like, okay, I will bring it up. I feel like
Bring it up.
People that were by our
Bring it up.
I don't know why I did that, but anyways, like how they have in the courthouse.
We should get one.
Yeah, a gavel. Was it a gavel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I feel like people that were like in our life during that time and like by our side and they were kind of like there to like witness and like hear about those things, were very confused. And like I feel like even now watching this, y'all can be like, oh my gosh, like how many fights have y'all had? But I don't even.
That was like, before this summer, the last time was sophomore year.
No,
college.
yeah, like it, like
we're seniors in college.
Yeah, and I would like. I'm just saying. I guess what I'm trying to say is just. I don't really consider them fights. I consider them like us like maturing, but also like we're in a. It's like if
I
we have
think
two dogs too close to each other. That's terrible. I'm like
no.
obsessed with dogs.
Here's the thing.
Why can I not speak?
I don't know. Here's the thing is I think that nowadays friendship is so much construed in the way that people are low maintenance and like community is not a thing and like having people in your life who inconvenience you and who have hard conversations with you and who make hard decisions and like have uncomfortable conversations with you is not normalized and is so like abstract to our generation because it's like as soon as anyone crosses a line or like you go through anything with anyone, it's like an immediate like cut them off because we cannot have them in our lives. Which don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I'm the queen of cutting people off. There are so many people I don't talk to anymore. So many people who are blocked, and I don't care.
T.
For my mom's blocked. Like I
Like T.
like, yeah, like it's like I don't know. So it's just like, but I think that it's so important to realize that like you will never have a true genuine relationship if you cannot fight for somebody that you love in any relationship. And that's like that's what me and Layla are both getting at. I think like with this whole thing is like
For sure.
our relationship is not all cupcakes and rainbows, but no one's relationship is cupcakes and rainbows. And if you're not willing to like work it out or sit and talk with someone or to hear the other person's side and like sit down and have a conversation about it, then you don't really love that person.
Yeah.
You don't love them enough to have them in your life. And it's crazy nowadays that like you can literally have friends that like you sleep with their boyfriends or like sleep with their
And
friends
y'all
and
are
it's like
cool
y'all are
next
cool.
week.
Like no, like that's not
Whew.
okay. Like that's not cool. Like I would never cross a line with Layla. Like we clearly know who we've been with because
Yeah.
and then it's also like then you have the friendships who don't tell each other anything and then you're like hiding stuff from each other and it's like secrets that like about each other.
Yeah.
And it's like that is crazy. Like as soon as anyone says anything
Or
to me
about things
Layla,
that you know, like the person's not gonna like. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I can maybe keep something from Victoria for like 24 hours, if that. Like
well, it's just more of like a like no one has
It's
a sense of
respect.
no one has a sense of respect or loyalty anymore. And that's really like the crazy part about it because it's like we would if we sat here and we're like we've just been best friends for forever and we've been okay, that would be a big fat lie.
Yeah.
But it's also just like then you say all this stuff about like people are always constantly talking about how like they don't want to hang out with their best friend or whatever. And it's like that's crazy to me. Because if I have an opportunity to hang out with Layla, like I'm hanging out with her.
Yeah, and like we've been so busy this week. This is my off day, my only off day this week from work, and we are like planning on just hanging out just today because you're going to be busy this weekend and you're not going to be in town.
Like once a week we
so
have
we're
to
like
see
we
each
have
other.
to have a day like we have just been in and out and like kind
We
of
like
just,
haven't really seen each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess it's just like in true friendships and true relationships you're gonna have conversations and you're gonna have fights and it's crazy that like our generation doesn't know what that means anymore.
Yeah, well, I just think it really goes back down to how people are raised, and then the lack of like wanting to grow within yourself. Like I feel like me and you were definitely not be friends if I hadn't gotten back into therapy or tried to like
or if we hadn't started going to church.
Yeah, or going to church, therapy, trying to figure out my internal problems, you doing the same, getting over our trauma, like learning how to that we don't have to be the same way as we grew up in the houses we grew up in and like kind of not
and realizing that you're not in the same environment.
Yeah, and like you
and
don't
you
have
can
to
create your own
these
home.
norms and like kind of just learn to be you and like as we learn to grow within ourselves and like grow as our own person we grow together and that just comes with it.
And I think it's one of those things where it's like when you really love people, like not even just like it in this aspect, like when you just love people, you want to do better for them. Like you want to do better about yourself for them. Like, and I've told you that before. Like if you don't want to get better for yourself, like because like Layla obviously has had times where she's like, I don't care, like to get better and I don't care about my mental health or whatever. But it's like if you don't want to do better for you, do better for me. Like, and maybe that's a wrong thing or maybe that's toxic or whatever. But
no, but I don't think so.
I think it's the people that you have in your life that keep you going.
Yeah, for sure. Because we had a conversation and that's how she literally told me. And
basically what I was saying before we were really interrupted. I think that the way that we both have watched each other live life has like I don't know, when you see somebody go through so much, it's like you obviously have to become a more understanding person and you're not going to be like, oh, I hate them.
Yeah,
like I don't want to be friends
totally
with them.
agree with that. Like,
but on the topic of this, let's talk about the fact that everyone thinks our friendship is horrible and we have a codependency issue apparently, which we have been told by so many people.
Like so many people.
But I think it's because it's uncomfortable for people to watch two people be so close who aren't who are happy and who have a good relationship and who don't like hate each other.
Yeah. And it's also like a lot of people, I don't want to say try to tear us down, but like
No, they do.
they
They want to hate us so bad. They want us to not be friends. They literally
like
want us to not be friends.
yeah,
They want us to. They want to see us
fail.
fall apart
Yeah.
because we're so close, and that's really real.
Because it's not common anymore. Like it's
No.
really not
Like, how many years have we been friends now?
wait,
We have matching tattoos.
since 2013, guys.
What is that? 13 years. We have 13 years of friendship, and I'm 21, and Layla's 22.
Yeah.
Like, that is crazy. That's like half of our life.
Oh my gosh.
That's over half of our life. I'll never spend my life with someone as long as I'll spend my life with Layla.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like weird for people to see. But I think it's also weird for people to see like us not have these secrets because it's like so known that people have secrets.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
I think people really just
Talk
are
about
like
it.
haters. Like I really do. Like I think people are haters. Like there's gonna be so many people that see this video when it blows up, because the video's gonna blow
No,
up obviously.
it's gonna blow up.
So I think these people that would, are
See,
gonna know
Geek
that we're
sponsor us.
talking about them. They're going to be like,
And I
yeah,
don't
like
care.
how are they having
Too bad you can't text me because you're blocked.
how are they having this freaking topic as friendship on their podcast when they're not good friends? And I think that like
I think we are.
but I think it goes back to maybe we're just like I always say this, maybe we're just delusional, but I don't think so. I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier, when you were like, people are so quick to cut somebody off only in the right circum
Yeah.
it's like people cut people off in the wrong circumstances and then keep the people that they should have cut off in their life.
Yeah.
It's like backwards to some people.
Which
to
I think
most
too,
people.
like it's because there are so many people that I've cut off that like I've never really given an explanation. But I think that comes from like I just don't owe you an explanation.
No, yeah.
But it's like if I cut you off, it's for a good reason.
But
There's
then,
multiple
like,
reasons.
the people that I was speaking about earlier, like, if I were to go to somebody about us, like, being in a little tiff and, like, we're, like, arguing or, like, we're just, like, in some weird, awkward, like, neither one of us wants to have the hard conversation, it's like, oh, maybe you should, like, just figure it out and cut your lease off or, like, move out. But it's like, in the short term, it's like, yeah, because I'm a very rash person. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, da 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 da. Like, how Victoria's like, I'm gonna move out. I was like, girl, pack your little bag, move out. And in reality, it's like, please, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah,
like,
like,
girl,
that's
please,
not-
what do you mean? Like,
that's
that's
really
not
not
how you solve
realistic.
problems. That's
Yeah.
not realistic. If we were to have a hard conversation, and the end of the conversation was us to be like, maybe we just aren't cut out to be friends. Maybe
Yeah.
this is the end of our run. Then we could be
But it's
realistic
like
about
if
it.
you're not gonna fight for your friendships and for love, then like what would you fight for?
Yeah, because you're gonna fight for that man.
Yeah. And like
You're
I'd
gonna
rather
fight that man.
and I'd rather give Layla like 1,000 chance. I will. First of all, I'm not even giving a man one chance. Okay, you do one thing wrong, you're cut off. But
Okay, I can't say the same, but you get what I mean.
yeah, like, but I'm gonna stand by my girl and I'm gonna let her know. Like, she's gonna cut you off whenever it's too much. I'm gonna
Yep.
make her.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make her.
one of us is gonna do it.
Yeah, but like, I would rather spend like my life trying to make things right with Layla or like have our friendship be the best it could be because I genuinely haven't had anyone be there for me like Layla has, and I think that that's what's also intimidating for people is that like we don't have like, but then it's also that is like people think that we don't have lives outside of each other, but it's like we do, we really do.
Yeah.
Like I'm going out of town this weekend to hang out with my other friends, and like
Mhm.
we don't spend every day of every minute together. There's days or weeks
Like,
where we don't see
haven't
each other.
seen each other all week.
It's
the first day.
Yeah, and we're not gonna see each other for the rest of the week. Like it's the only day. It's like we live our lives separately. Obviously, it has taken us a long time to get here.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
like that's also with growth and like changes. Like Layla's having to learn to like be loving herself and like
It's
be
hard, guys. It's
alone
hard
and
out here.
yeah, and to like be alone. And I have had to learn to not be as alone and like
Mhm.
to learn to really like that when you want to be in a relationship with someone, anyone, you have to want to spend time with them. And that's something that I've always struggled with because I've always wanted to just be by myself. But that's
Yeah.
because I've always been surrounded by people. So it's like it's nice. It was nice for me to come to college and not have to breathe every air of someone's air.
Mhm.
And so it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I get that, but it's like then too, like from what you're saying, like where people are like, how can they sit here and talk about this? It's like, yeah, I'm sure that looks like that from that side. And it's like, but a lot of people I think a lot of people just don't know.
But also, a lot of people are in fake relationships.
Yeah.
And
But
that's just what it boils down to. Is like, I'm sorry, but
I think just no, I say that and like I think a lot of people just don't really understand or realize how deep our friendship is.
yeah,
And I think that's why it's so hard for them to fathom that we'd still be friends. But it's like
yeah, I can see that.
it would take so much for me to let this go because we've been through so much.
Sorry, I had to think you
You're
were gonna
so
see me do
annoying.
that.
But it's like, no, because I really think that I don't have a relationship deeper with anyone other than Layla because
Yeah, I don't.
Layla has seen
You
me
know some
in
crazy things about me.
and Layla knows some no, we have seen each other in some crazy situations and we have been there through so much
My
from
parents, like, no, literally no
that's what
one.
I'm saying. Like I don't talk to anyone about how I feel except Layla. Like and Layla has literally seen me in some of my worst moments that I wouldn't even replay that I don't even want to talk about. But it's like I don't
Yeah.
know. Like if you're not I just think that like it's easy for people to be like, just don't be friends with her. But it's mm, like you wouldn't say that about a guy that you're dating for 10 years. Like you'd be
Exactly.
like, fight for it, like make it
Yeah,
work.
like y'all have been through some things. I think
Yeah,
it's so that's kind of almost like double standard.
it is very double standard.
Wow, I never really thought about it like that.
And then it's like that. All this whole thing really feeds into the reason why we don't have that many friends and why we can only be friends with guys because
Well,
it's
one,
like
I'm very antisocial and I don't really care to branch out, but I do have other friends. I will say that.
I
I'm
don't
just
think she's antisocial. I think she's the most social person I know because she talks to people during class. I don't do that.
yeah, but I like I hang out with people other than Victoria, but like not really, and I don't know, like I don't know. It's be I always pick bad friends.
Yeah.
Like I really do. And so I don't really care to be friends with a lot of other people. Like I have like my chosen like selective three besides Victoria, three or four besides you. And that's literally it.
Yeah, but I don't have. It's
Yeah.
only like three other
Yeah.
people
Yours is the
besides you,
same.
like Michelle, Isabel.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like I
Yeah.
have a lot of social media friends. I have a lot of friends that I don't talk to a lot, but we when we do talk, it's like good conversations. But I think that that's also another thing is like why we can't ever keep a friend or have a friend. It's because people are very intimidated by our relationship,
That and people
feel
people
left
have told
out.
us that they felt left out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they feel very left out, and that's something that like as much as me and Layla try, I we can't help it.
And it's
Like
not like we do it intentionally. Like
we
we don't
don't.
have any ill intent with it. It's just like
We really
the
don't. Like
other
we
day,
really try
like
to be inclusive.
yeah, we really do. And like even for an example, the other day we said a whole two sentences the exact same.
I don't know. That was
That was some really
freaky.
freaky stuff.
But I
And
think
not
it's
the good kind of freaky either. Like that was some
no.
really weird stuff.
We're like twins, basically.
yeah.
It's weird. But I think it's because as women, you're obviously threatened by other girls and then you're like jealous of other people's relationships already. So it's like as a woman, like you get very jealous.
Very territorial.
And that's why it's hard for us to have girlfriends because it's like if we when which we do have girlfriends, but they're not people that we see every single day. And I think that's the
Mhm.
only reason why it works. Because me and Layla are like obviously there's experiences and there's things that like I only want to share with Layla. And in the past, people have tried to get me to share those with them, and it's like when I do, I
Just
open
doesn't
my
work
mouth.
out, does it?
Yeah, when I open my mouth, it's like you said the wrong thing, or you
Yeah.
don't understand, and so it's hard for you to say something
Mhm.
good because you don't understand because you haven't been there. And
That's
so
what
it's
it
like,
boils down to is like you
yeah,
haven't been
you
there. Like
haven't been there.
you go to certain friends about certain
Yeah,
things and that's just what it is and people feel left out and like intimidated by that. And it's
very
just
left
like
out.
you kind of to put it bluntly, you have to know your place in someone's life.
Yeah,
Like I'm not going to go to
and
some
it's like
girl that I'm
because I
friends with
think
in
it's
class
like
about
they
my
always want us. They want us to be just as close with them as like we are with each other. But it's like in reality, that's never gonna happen because we live together. We have 13 years of life under our belt. Like we don't have like. There's not a lot that me and Layla don't know about each other. So it's like we don't. But when we introduce another person, we don't know a lot about you. And I
Mhm.
think that's where like the issue is because we genuinely don't have any other healthy relationships with women other than look actually other than like a few people and then
Yeah.
all the other relationships we have are with men but it's because men don't care like they
Yeah.
don't care like the guys don't care about it they think we're stupid actually
Yeah, they
and they
just kind
don't
of
care
listen.
yeah they don't want to be up our butts 24/7 it's like that's why it works with us having guy friends because it's like we don't have to bend over backwards and make you feel like we want you here but it's like clearly if we've invited you then you're wanted here but it's also like you can't force someone to be in a friendship
Yeah, you can't.
and a lot of times people want to do that to you
Yeah.
force
Or
you
like become kind of overly involved and
And you can't.
into our space, and like it's like we've kind of created a space for ourselves. So there's like not really room for a third.
Layla's throwing shots
Sorry,
right now.
I'm not. I'm not. I
She's
promise I'm
throwing
not.
shots.
I'm
She's
not.
throwing shots.
Guys, I would never do that.
But it's also like a lot of it is unlearning trauma.
Yeah, and I think that comes
Because
with a lot of
for
people that haven't gone through their
yeah,
own like.
because for a long time it was like me telling Layla like this isn't your house and like we can have conversations where we're not fighting. Where this doesn't mean like I'm upset at you and this doesn't mean that I hate you. This is just me having a conversation with you. And Layla had to like realize that.
I had to
And
retrain my brain. Like, that's a
yeah.
real life thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a
It
real
really
life
is.
thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
What else do we want to say?
Dang, I
Anything
had a
else?
lot on my mind before your freaking phone died.
Oh, sorry.
Well, these
Say
mics
it.
are beeping red.
I know.
I'm gonna cut this as short as I can.
Okay.
I kind of just want to pick up on the topic of you talking about how your grief.
Oh. Let's not talk about that.
Okay, we don't have to. I was just
Yeah.
gonna say from
Oh.
I'm not gonna bring you into it, but I was gonna say from my perspective and like how to be there
Okay.
for a friend.
You can do that.
Okay. Are you sure?
Mhm.
Okay. So, like Victoria was talking about her grief earlier. That's one of the biggest things. Like as you watch this whole video, you can tell I'm a very avoidant person. When it comes to like feelings and emotions and everything. So this has, she when she said this has been a very hard year for her. I said this in a very different way. Like, not obviously we're both grieving in different ways, and I'm not comparing me having to learn my emotions and how to be there for somebody as a way of like how you're grieving. Those are two different things. But as someone who didn't really grow up with really good, boundaries when it comes to stuff like that, and like how to be there for her and like learning how to be there for somebody in different stages of their life, I will say it wasn't hard. It was just something that I had to kind of like teach myself as the days go on. And I feel like sometimes I'm still not, to my best that I could be for a friend. But I will say to others who have people that are close to them that are going through stuff like that, it is intimidating at first because it's like you don't know how to really be there for that person because obviously y'all don't feel the same way about any situation. It doesn't really have to
And
be
we're
about
also
grief.
so young.
Yeah, and we're so young and we're still both trying to
And
navigate
neither of us have
everything.
ever experienced death in this
Yeah,
capacity.
in this type of area in our life.
Yeah.
And so it was very hard because I've had like, grandparents die when I was young. And I feel like those are different experiences and things that she was speaking about. But as some person, and I'm not saying this like I told myself to be there. I wanted to be there for you. I thought it was dead. I wanted to be there for you as your friend and as someone that you could lean on because I can only imagine, like, I can see how much it's hurting you and affecting you. And I'm not calling you out or anything, but I'm just saying, like, if anyone who has a friend that is grieving, you
Me
can see
smiling
that.
because I'm uncomfortable.
Sorry. I'm trying to, like, not, like, throw you under, like,
No, it's okay.
or call you out or, like, make this uncomfortable for you, but, like, you kind of have to meet them where they're at. And I feel like sometimes it's very hard because you don't have those same feelings. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know how their day has been. You don't know what they're processing that day or what they're not processing that day. So I think it's like one of those things like where that person is taking it day by day, you kind of have to do that with them. And that can be very intimidating because like I'm not a confrontational person. So like even just when I mean that, I mean like even just asking like, hey, how are you doing today? Like I don't want to like cross the line or I don't want her to be like, can you just leave me alone? Because when you're grieving, like I feel like with anything, like me when I was going through all the stuff with my mental health, I was like on a tight leash, and you could set me off in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the same thing. Like when she would come to me and be like, "Hey, like, how are you doing?" Like before I got diagnosed, and I was like in therapy for real. It was very touch and go for me. But sorry, oh my gosh, I just said that. Oh wow. Well, anyways, guys, so yeah, but I think it's like one of those things that like you can't expect much out of a person. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in a way of like there's no expectations for that how that person's gonna grieve or like how they're gonna feel each day. And so you kind of have to take it on their own limbo. And that doesn't it's not a bad thing. I think that's something like you're learning each other again and like you're growing with that person and you're going through it with them. And I feel like I've been there for you as much as I know how. And I know there's a lot of areas that some days where I'm just like I literally don't know what to say because it's just you don't know what to say. Like sometimes you just don't have anything to say, and I feel like sometimes, and you may not agree with that, but I feel like sometimes it's better. It's not better, but if you don't know what to say, sitting there and listening to them and just being there, and you don't even have to talk, kind of just being surrounded by them and like a presence of somebody else kind of lets them like feel like they're not alone. Um, if I had to guess, that's how I see it in my point of view, at least.
I think it's just showing up.
Yeah, showing up. Maybe that's what the word I'm looking for. Showing up.
And I think, but I think that's what life is about. I think it's all about showing up for someone. It's like, in, I guess this is like, yeah, for everything. Like, I think the people that matter the most are gonna be the ones who show up even when they don't know what to say or don't know what to do or don't know how to comfort you. But being there, because I think that people downplay the presence of them, like of other people. Like obviously there's times where like I'm freaking out, I don't really want to be talking to anyone, but like you still make it a point to know, like for me to know that you're there, like whether that's a text or like her actual presence, and just like sitting there. But
Or
it's
I'll
like,
just awkwardly come to your door and be like, hey,
hey, yeah,
I'm gonna be in my room if you need me.
yeah, and I think that that's like what friendship should be. I think it's just showing up for people even when it's an inconvenience to you, showing up for people even when you're uncomfortable or you don't know what to say or like you don't really know how to navigate a situation. Because I
Yeah.
was just like the other day talking about this, like about how like selfless Layla has been throughout my entire grief, and like how I've never had to be there for her to like sit and cry, and I'm sure she has cried, but just not in front of me. Like, and she's always just been there and like put me first in this situation when like I'm sure she's also feeling something because she went through a lot of it as well. So it's like to not to like downplay her situation, but like she never has made me feel like, oh, I need to be worried about Layla. Like she's always just put me first, and I think that that's what friendship is for. Like I think that's what friendship is about, putting other people first when you know they're not going through a hard time. Or like when me and you were like, oh, we don't want to go to the guy's house today because we're gonna be there for forever and it's late and like we have to wake up and go to bed early, but it's like showing up, but then we go,
Mm-hmm.
and then we go and we have a good time, and it's like then they end up really being
It's
glad
like
that we're there. Yeah,
that,
it's
and
like
like
every
it's the
time.
days we have the deepest conversations,
Conversations,
or they
yeah.
needed the most, and we didn't
Exactly.
even know.
We didn't even know, or it's like, or sometimes they don't even voice that, but it's like little do we know that we did a lot for them in that moment, and they just needed us to be there. And so it's like I think that's what friendship is like. Being friendship is inconvenient and friendship is uncomfortable sometimes, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also like one of those really good things. Like when you find a friend, you like you have a good friend.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
for sure. I think
Yeah,
that's where we need to end it off at. Yeah.
that felt right.
Yeah, that did. Guys, we're gonna end it on that note, and on the next episode, we'll be talking about dating.
Yep. And
So,
that was 2 peas on the pod.
2 peas on a pod. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.